Welcome back to another edition of Talking Ball. Today we are looking at Chucky Hepburn, the defensive stalwart from Louisville. Spent his first 3 years with Wisconsin, and now will be taking his talents professionally. Hepburn, man, Hepburn. And first off, these stats from ACC Network, it's 5.8 assists per game, not rebounds per game. But Hepburn is one of the best defensive players in this draft. He is extremely disruptive on the ball. He is, while a little bit undersized for the NBA at 6'2", he uses that lower base of gravity to help him defensively and get underneath opposing offensive players. He gets steals, he gets deflections. In the preseason tournament in the Bahamas, in like 2 games, he had over 20 deflections. It was insane. He's a guy who just disrupts offenses. Now, for Hepburn, the move to Louisville really enabled him to get more involved offensively, have a bigger offensive role for the Cardinal, and he did a pretty good job. He upped his assists by nearly 2 per game to almost 6 per game last year for Louisville. He got up more 3-pointers. He scored more than he ever had in his career. And he was a guy who could do it, from the 3-point line and then getting to the basket. He made plays for his teammates. He's a guy who became a bit more well-rounded as a player, but he was always a really tough, good player when he played for Wisconsin. Don't get me wrong. Now, for Hepburn, there are a couple of things that I think are going to make or break for him at the next level. I'm not worried about his defense. I think that is going to carry over, and I think that's going to give him an opportunity, whether that's as a draft pick or as a guy who's signed undrafted and gets a 2-way contract. For me, the questions with Hepburn come down to, can he make plays for his teammates effectively enough? Like, what offensive traits will he be able to move forward and do well enough to get him extended playing time? The improved playmaking was good, but there were times where he was a bit turnover prone. 5.8 assists per game. We'll get into the stats a little bit, but about 3 turnovers per game for Hepburn. The 3-point shooting. He had 1 year, his sophomore year, he was a 40% 3-point shooter. His freshman year was 35%. I thought he would kind of rebound to more of those numbers this year after a down year last year, but it was down again this year. Now, the volume was up, and the free throw percentage was up as well. So I think there are areas where if you just look at the percentage, you might be concerned. But I think if you look a little bit deeper, there are positive signs for Hepburn's shooting. The size, I understand that being a concern for people. He is 6'2". He's 190 pounds. He is strong, but he's not the biggest guard. And the NBA has been saying they're moving away from these types of guards, but if you look at the playoffs, there are a ton of small guards who are playing deep into the playoffs. You look at the Cavs. Yes, Donovan Mitchell has a freak wingspan, but he's like 6'2", maybe 6'3". Garland 6'2", 6'1". You look at the Knicks. Obviously, Jalen Brunson's an outlier, but they also play Miles McBride, who has a long wingspan, and they play Campaign a little bit. You look at the Celtics. They've got Peyton Pritchard. There are small guards who are playing deep into the playoffs in the NBA, so I don't think it's necessarily a true roadblock. You look at, the Grizzlies. One of their starters who had a ton of success in the playoffs was Scottie Pippen Jr. A guy who, isn't in the playoffs but had some success as a rookie was Jamal Shead. I think there are players that say that Chucky Hepburn can have success at the next level, and I think he will. Looking at the stats for Hepburn, he's not necessarily like nothing besides the steals. The steals really jump off the page, but everything else offensively doesn't really jump off the page. 16 points is pretty good improvement from his time at Wisconsin. More so, he got more involved offensively, but he was more efficient. His sophomore year, he had a similar number of attempts. The spacing was better, and most importantly, he got better as a finisher. And I think part of that was the spacing was better with Louisville. He shot 54% on his twos, which was a really good number, 33% from 3, 6 assists almost to 3 turnovers, so almost 2-to-1 assist turnover ratio. It was pretty good, not necessarily spectacular. I just think Hepburn, listen, he's a guy who I would take a chance on. And I'm not certain. I'm not certain if he gets drafted, but if it was up to me and I was drafting a team, I would definitely take him in the second round, mid-second round, somewhere between 40 and 50 seems appropriate to take a guy like Chucky Hepburn, give him a shot, and I think he will pay off. If a team is able to give him that opportunity. So let me know what you guys think about Hepburn. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.